players, if you take 10 or 15 players from this squad, you are going to benefit out of it. You are going to play about 6 matches with very strong teams, Ghana and other teams. Why didn't you participate? You can say that because of the Champions League and because of the qualifications. You can say because of the Zamalek and Ali that are playing in the semi-finals and finals, and your players will not be.
But that was super important, definitely.
I know, but you see, you can take the players who are not playing. You don't have all the players playing. You have at least 12 or 13 players.
What could be the possible challenge for such a thing, or such, a practice?
You see, I always find, you see, they claimed or they said something which I don't feel comfortable with it. That they say that the league will be postponed and a lot of other things because of these competitions, which will make the league go further and further for a long time. That they don't want to participate and postpone the league for that. That's why I think it's not the good reason, but all Africa is participating, so you have to sacrifice with some time for that.
Yes. So let's look at the groups. If we're speaking about Group A, they have Senegal, South Africa, Tunisia, and Zambia. And Group B, Nigeria is drew with Egypt, Algeria, and Mali in Group B.
Well, I have here Egypt with Algeria, with Nigeria, and with Mali. Can you believe that? You need only 2 of this group to qualify. Who can just guess and guess?
The 4 are really tough.
You see, I was told that three teams will go, not 4 teams. So I think this is going also to be difficult. You need to get at least in the semi-finals or the 3rd. So it's not like...
So it's 3 teams qualifying from 4 teams?
That's what I heard. They're going to take 3 teams from the whole group to go to Olympics in Brazil. I hope that I'm attending it in Brazil.
So it's 6 teams to be participating?
No, 3 teams. 3 teams.
Only 3 teams. Yeah. So the first
1 and 2, and then
exactly.
the best 3rd. So I think it is going to be difficult, and I'm sure the most unhappy person is Hussam al-Badri, because you had in the groups like you have Zambia, you had South Africa, you had Senegal, but you came with Nigeria, Algeria, and Mali. My goodness, when the draw was being made, all of us were just looking and seeing each other. It was so fantastic to see the Egyptians. But you see, the Nigerians were there attending, and Tunisia were there. A lot of people were attending the draw, but I'm sure that it's not easy. Maybe when it becomes so difficult, you get more pressure. You get more and more enthusiasm to get there. Better than having teams which are not to the standard.
How would you evaluate the Olympic team, Captain Shatta?
Well, until now, the Olympic team is not very well structured, because you see the players have not been together for a long time. And I'm sure that this is one of the reasons that Hussam wants the player to be in a camp rather than to be in a tournament or a competition like All Africa Games, where you can have some difficult matches. But until now, you have a good quality of players. You know, in this year, the most best players among all these clubs are the youth teams. You know, we have in Al Ahly, we have 3 players below 20. And we have Ramadan, you know him, our good player in Al Ahly.
Yes.
And you have in Zamalek 2 or 3 players under 23. You have a lot of good players playing in the league, and they're playing regularly now within the first squad. So the team is strong, but they did not go into a lot of qualifications or matches to judge whether this team is now strong enough or not. He did not go to matches, trial matches, and Hussam al-Badri knows what does he need in the future, and I hope that the federation, the Egyptian FA, should help him to just find some matches, at least to play with strong teams like Nigeria, like Ghana, like South Africa, like or Cote d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast. I hope that he knows well what to do. So I'm happy that he's a very qualified coach, and he is keen to come to the Olympics to prepare his team well. So it is really something very difficult for the Olympic teams to have this group, but I'm sure they are going to do something better.
And there's high hopes, around this generation of players, that this is the players who are going to be supporting the national team. It has been developed for several years, and it is, the generation that really support the Olympic team. So do you think this is the case, given the calibers and looking and observing this team?
Of course, You know, there is another issue I would like also to highlight here, Sharif. You know, we have a tournament in Africa or a Cup of Nations called for the local players. We call it CHAN, I don't know, championship of the players who are domestically playing in Africa and in their clubs, not from abroad, not from professional like from Ghana or this. So you have to take this. The Egyptian and the 23 teams could have participated. They also withdrew. If they participated in All Africa games and then they came and they participated in CHAN, which is going to be in Rwanda in January, the team will be very strong. It's going to be the basics of the national team in future. You will have it for 10 years at least. You have a strong team for 10 years. So I think we have to look on that. And Mahmoud Saad, the technical director of the Egyptian Football Association, is a very good friend of mine. He's a CAF instructor, and he should also look into that. This type of development of players, under 17 and under 19 and under 23 is part of his work. Must participate into these competitions. It will create a very solid, strong player than just playing some kind of tournaments and friendly matches.
And the Olympics, the football in the Olympics is like the cherry on the top. People, they love to see the Egyptian team participate in the Olympics.
Of course.
And, you know, it is the excitement part of the athletes and swimming and a lot of, you know, exciting competitions and sports. Definitely, the football has its own, you know, sort of excitement for the viewers.
Of course, when Egypt is everywhere. You know, now in Egypt, all Africa games, you know how many medals we have? We are number one now. We just passed over South Africa, where they are very dominant on that. Now, the Egyptian sports is very strong. Now, I don't know how many medals, more than 40 or 60 medals, about 120 or 100 something medals gained by the Egyptian athletes.
Yes.
I'm sure Egypt, if Egypt is there, everyone will be happy. But now, you see, they just go and just sleep out like this without just giving good reasons. For me, it's not the right way. But everything, we have a reason. We have a league which is and we struggle to finish it. You know, the first league in the world to finish in more than 340 or 50 days. It's completely a year circle. So I think this is very unfortunate that we are passing through very difficult times without spectators. You have a problem now to play the Confederation Cup, which is Al and Zamalek. They reach the final. Are you going to play it with spectators or not, with a crowd or not? Will they allow it or not? The situation is really very stagnant, and I don't know what's going to happen. But you see, football in Egypt is passing through crisis, and I'm sure, but still we are on the top. Still we are doing fine. Still our two teams from the Egyptian are in the finals. Same like Sudan. You have Hilal and Marif, also the same thing. But I don't know. I don't want to minimize or underestimate the value or the level of the quality of the league. Maybe this is one of the strongest league played without crowd. Can you believe that? The strongest league.
Really?
Yes, you have many. How much goals scored? I think it's a record 700 something or 900. I don't have the record, but it is one of the most strong leagues we have ever seen.
But it's not watched.
It's not watched.
That's definitely
There is
going
no
to be.
motivation. There is no crowd. There is no flavor. There's nothing. You just go and sit and watch a game played very calm. Nothing in the stadium. How can you enjoy football without that?
We'll definitely be covering more about the Egyptian League and the upcoming season. But now let's move to a short break with cycling, and Italy's Fabio Aru sealed his first ever Grand Tour victory. Germany's Jean de Genkolb finally claimed the stage win on the final day of Spain's Vuelta. We'll be moving to this story and returning back with more. Stay with us.
Defending world champion Marc Marquez of Spain on his Honda won an enthralling San Marino MotoGP on Sunday as Yamaha's Valentino Rossi blew his chances with tactical errors and teammate Jorge Lorenzo crashed out. The decision by the Honda rider to switch to slick tyres on the drying Misano World Circuit, Marco Simonelli, after earlier rain, led to his fourth win of the season in front of British riders Bradley Smith and Scott Redding. Redding rode a remarkable race after dumping his bike in the dirt, only to get back up and finish third, which completed the first two British riders had finished on the podium since 1979. Championship leader Rossi and his army of home fans who have come to see the 9-time world champion looked on in bewilderment as he failed to make the switch from wet tyres to slicks with 7 laps to go when he was in the lead, which handed the race to Marquez. The doctor eventually settled for 5th place, but it was still a successful day as Lorenzo's crash means Rossi extends his championship lead to 23 points over his Yamaha teammate, with Marquez now 63 points back with 5 races to go. Earlier, Johan Zarco won his 6th race of the Moto2 season on Sunday as Kalex bike swept the top 3 places and gave the Frenchman an extended lead in the championship standings. Chasing his 4th world title, the 25-year-old from Cannes drove a brilliant race to take the checkered flag 3.85 seconds ahead of Spanish teammate Tito Rabat, with Japan's Takeaki Nagakame coming third on another Kalex at 5.388 seconds.
Nice to be here again on the podium, and you know the target was the victory, so we did, and we are really happy.
Welcome back, and that was the Honda's world champion Marc Marquez of Spain winning the San Marino MotoGP. Now moving on to another topic, and the Egyptian national team and the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, and definitely the road to the World Cup through that qualifiers too. But to have this and to be discussing more with this, we're still joined with Captain Abdelmenem Hussein, known as Captain Shatta. Once again, I'd like to thank you and welcome you to join us here.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
So let's start with the national team. The national team, you know, there has been a downturn for a very long time. The performance, the qualifications for the African, Cup of Nations. For several years and several iterations, Egypt has dropped of that. The performance in the World Cup qualifiers we missed. So there is now, you know, all of the eyes are looking, but not with the extreme optimism that we used to have in the previous versions. So do you think there is a better situation for the Egyptian team? And does the Egyptian national team stand a better chance this time to be moving towards the qualifiers?
Well, I think I have the table here when Egypt is playing against Chad and they played against Tanzania, and then they have got 6 points now. And the group is a little bit easy for them to qualify because they take 2 teams from each group, and I'm sure that they're going to have it. But the problem is the qualification of the World Cup is coming within this next year. The World Cup qualification will start, and you see this Africa Cup of Nations is going to be in 2017. So the team is really doing its best, but through the problem of the league, as we said before, and they are facing a lot of problems. Still, the players are not taking good care of the preparation of this national team. I'm sure the coach is doing his best. He's old, but he's strong, and he is really very patient, and he knows how to deal with these situations. But I'm sure his name is Cooper. You know, he's Argentinian. He's Argentinian, I think. And you see, I don't know if exactly he is patient enough to have players not playing in front of crowds and not under pressure and this thing, and to build a very strong player for the future. But until now, you see, the next match is going to be against Nigeria. I think it's going to be a very tough match. Nigeria drew with Tanzania, I understand, and I'm sure that Nigeria, they changed the coach. You know, the coach is Olise. I don't know if you know him or not.
Yes.
He replaced Stephen Kishi, because Stephen Kishi had a lot of problems with the media, a lot of problems with the people in charge of his contract and other things. He won the Africa Cup of Nations, as you know, but he is still having a lot of problems. And when he went to the World Cup in 2014 with the Nigerian team, a lot of things happened there, and he was not giving the best performance for the Nigerian team. Egypt is already played against Chad. You know, the result was 5-0, I think. It was an away match in Benjamina. But you see, the Chad team is not that strong just to judge whether the team is well prepared enough or not. But winning abroad is a very good motivation for the national team. The match against Nigeria is not going to be easy, because I think that, as I told you, the national team is going to play in the Africa Cup of Nations in 2017 in Gabon. Gabon is in a group where Sudan has also lost their 4-0. So you need to have to understand that they took the best team and the winner of the group and the second 2 best teams of the whole group. It's going to be very difficult qualification, very good test for the national team to do their best. And I'm sure that everything is facilitated. The federation and the people are expecting more than that. The question is, are the players ready enough to just evaluate the situation or not?
That's usually the question. And but you're confident in the coaches himself, in Hector Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper. I know he's a very correct man. I know he doesn't like to have a lot of leniency and some kind of disencouragement from other things. He always work under.
He's focused.
Yeah, and he is always taking care of the team, but he knows that the league is not helping him, and he must also understand that he has to work in an environment, and he knows that Nigeria is going to be very tough, but he's still on top. They got 6 points, and Nigeria have got 4 points. If you do with Nigeria, then you are going to be in a better situation, and if you win against Nigeria, then you are going to be for surely on the top, and you can easily qualify. But if you don't get a good result with Nigeria, then you are going to be in trouble. But still, you have to get the best second if you didn't get the first. And he knows that. He has got very good stuff with him, and he works very separately. He doesn't communicate with lot of players, and he is very focused, as you said. And I'm happy of his way of coaching the national team.
Yes. If we looked at Nigeria, because Nigeria, they had this momentum, and looking at the statements when Egypt was drew with Nigeria in the same group, they had this momentum and focus and determination that they're going to be overbeating Egypt.
I know Olise. He was with me in the World Cup in Brazil. We worked together, And unfortunately, he got some kind of poison, and he was poisoned for 2 or 3 days in the hospital. I was taking care of him. He's a very good friend of mine, and we spoke when he was being called from abroad. He was not living in Nigeria. He was called from abroad to come and take the national team. He has never coached in his life. He has never coached in his life.
That's the
he was
first
a very strong
prize.
player. He was the captain of the Nigerian national team during the best performance they were doing. But when they brought him, I told him, Alice, are you going to take a national team? You haven't even taken a club before. You are just coaching some teams in Europe, like some kind of funny football. Now that you are giving a very strong responsibility.
Exactly.
And your image in Nigeria is very high. You are a very well-known person. You are one of the veterans. You are one of the...
So it's either he takes, this responsibility
He took the
to a
responsibility.
or lose the glamour and, and the
Yeah,
popularity.
you see, he doesn't know that being a good player and being very famous is something. Losing in national teams, nobody will look
Remember.
into your history.
So-
That's why it's very difficult for him. And he said, I told him, and you take it serious, and he accepted. I was so happy. And I called him, and we spoke together, and he said that he's going to start with a team, and they are just coming. And he said that he's lucky he played against Tanzania. Also, Tanzania changed their national coach, who was, I think, from Europe, and they brought Boniface. Boniface is the technical director of the federation. So the situation in Tanzania, the situation in Nigeria, the same. New coaches came, 2 coaches left. So he said that he's working well, and he's hoping that when he have got the matches home, he's going to achieve or win the points there, and he's going to be in a better position. But he is still worried of criticism. The media in Nigeria is very strong, very difficult, and he knows that. So he's doing well.
So that's from the side of Nigeria. Do you think there are other risks in the group?
No, I watched both Chad and Tanzania. Tanzania in Dar es Salaam is strong.
Yes.
Because they have got also some kind of support from the crowds, and they say. But technically and level-wise, Egypt and Nigeria, they are going to be on the top. But if Egypt, I'm just telling it here, they should qualify at first, because best second can be with other weak groups, and they can get more points. So I think we have to work on that, and they have to
So
understand
that's
that.
the focus, mainly,
At least,
winning Nigeria.
At least, Egypt has not been in the Africa Cup of Nations for the 3rd time. You can't have it 2006, 2008, 2010, and they'd be absent. 12, 13. It's not good enough for Egypt to be away 3 tournaments, and they are the winner for the last 3 tournaments with Hassan Shatta.
And that puts you away from the World Cup qualifiers too.
Of course, but the World Cup qualifiers are going to be a different
Competition.
competition, different qualification than
But
this
the
one.
preparations, the level of performance, if you're not qualified to this, you have a less probability of qualifying to the World Cup.
And you have to understand that some of the European professionals from Africa, they don't come to this Africa Cup of Nations. But for the World Cup, they come and they do their best, and if you find different quality of football, I'm sure Nigeria, when they want to play the qualification of the World Cup, it's not Nigeria who's playing now to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations.
In your opinion, as a technical director, and that's your expertise, do you think the national team is on the right track in terms of developing the squad, having a long-term vision?
Well, you see, I have to tell you something which is really happening in the atmosphere in Egypt now about contracts and players looking for money. They want to travel abroad. They are busy with other things. The concentration in the national team is just part of what. But now every player, they want to go abroad because they saw Mohamed Salah is gaining a lot of money, and he's doing fine. They want to become the same thing. So the players are very busy with contracts, busy with how much they gain from. You see, it is difficult to stop them from thinking and being ambitious. You cannot tell a player that he should not, you want to go and play in Manchester United or in Barcelona or whatever. So the question is that these players must also focus when they come to the national team. They must do their best. They must feel responsible that they are, the fans, the people, the media, they are expecting more from them. But I'm not happy with the performance, even against Chad. It was an easy game, and a lot of new players were playing. If you can remember, we have Kahraba and we have other players playing, and it's a new national team. They need time. They need experience. I didn't find in the pitch, Imad Mete was not there, Hussam Ghali was not there. I'm telling you what things, not because from Al-Ahli or Tamal, because you need to put some expert players with the young players. There are a lot of players, for the first time, they are participating in the national team. I don't have statistics, but I'm sure more than 90%.
Yes, there's a lot of new names definitely
Yes.
there. So, in general, you don't. So this means that you don't think they are on the right track.
Not on the right track, not on the right, even the selection is not the right selection, not because Ahl and Zamalek, there are very good players I think in Petrojet, there are very good players in MP, there are good players in, I think this should be taken into consideration, because the national team must be well established, the squad must be very close to each other. You should not every time change 5-6 players, you must keep within a squad of 18 to 20 players. Don't bring 30 players. Try this, and then finally you will get lost, and you don't find players who are regularly in the squad. So this is one of the most important things technically.
That's for sure. Now, let's move to another topic, but before we head there, let's have a look at the Grand Tour and cycling, and returning back with more topics, especially looking at the Super Cup.
Italy's Fabio Ru sealed the first ever Grand Tour victory as Germany's John Degenkolb finally claimed the stage win on the final day of the Spanish Vuelta. Ru just needed to get through the 98.8 km parade through the streets of Madrid unscathed after building up a 1 minute and 17 seconds lead over Joaquim Rodriguez on Saturday's penultimate stage. Rodriguez finished second to record the third podium finish in the Vuelta, but a puncture midway through the stage saw him lose out on the green points jersey to Spanish compatriot Alejandro Valverde. Poland's Rafał Majka finished third ahead of last year's Giro d'Italia winner Nairo Quintana in fourth. Ru trailed Dutch rider Tom Dumoulin by 6 seconds going into the penultimate stage. But with the aid of his Assetana teammates, Ru finally broke the Dutch rider's resistance on the final 2 Category 1 climbs of the race as Dumoulin slipped down to 6th. Dumoulin's giant Alpecin teammate Degenkolb won 4 stages at last year's Vuelta, but had been frustrated in the few stages suited to the sprinters. However, despite the efforts in helping Dumoulin over the past 3 weeks, he had enough in the tank to sprint to the line ahead of Dutch rider Danny van Poppel and Luxembourg's Jean-Pierre Drucker. Dumoulin also admitted that Degenkolb's win softened the blow of his personal disappointment. Majka was a young rider to impress as he made the most of his opportunity to lead Tinkoff Saxo in the absence of last year's Vuelta winner Alberto Contador.
El mayor rojo, del líder de la clasificación general, el más importante, el último. Ahí lo tenéis también con toda esa trayectoria de este corredor que ha concluido este año. Segundo en la general del Giro Italia. También ya fue quinto en la general de la Vuelta el año pasado con 2 victorias de etapa. El saludo también de todos. En unos instantes.
Welcome back. You're still watching Sprint, and moving on now to another topic, and specifically the Super Cup, which is going to be played in Emirates between Ahli and Zamalek. So that's an important, milestone for both teams. Looking at Ahli, definitely looking at another title, adding another title, and maintaining this cup from last year. And Zamalek is definitely want to dominate the scene and continue, this great season.
Well, I don't remember exactly when Zamalek took the Champions League and the Cup. I don't remember, but I'm sure it happened for Ali many times. But if Zamalek comes and win this Cup, then it is going to be one of the big achievements for its administration, for the president and his committee, and for the spectators and for everybody. But until now, we want to know who is the Cup winner. Do you know who the Cup winner until now? We don't know. So it might not be Ahli and Zamalek, is it? If I'm not mistaken.
No, but it was both Ahli and Zamalek is on the list for the Super Cup, because there is the confusion of which version of the cup and which version of the league. That's the situation. So, and the delay has been going on for the past couple of years. So, but yes, it is confirmed.
So I think playing it abroad is one of the things which you have to just discuss here. Is it right that we take our competition, our festivities, our glamour of football outside the continent, outside the country? Is it right?
I want to mention that this is the first time in the competition's history.
Yes, it never happened since 1948. No, maybe before that. The Cup was played since 1920s, I remember.
I think it starts at 44.
44, the Cup?
The Cup, yeah, but it was never, held in...
It has never happened that they played it outside. And now you see sponsorship.
Is something good or bad, so to have it outside?
Well, because you see,
we have a lot of secure places. Why aren't we going, like, for example, the Gona? The Gona was
the
good.
The problem is the sponsor. The sponsor wants crowd. He wants to be in a place where when the stadium is full. This is important for sponsorship. To buy this, the marketing of this match without crowds around, filling the stadium, you cannot have very good marketing on that. So
but
you see,
really weird, because even Saudi Arabia is having their Super Cup in London, for example.
I told you, it's becoming a trend. Even I heard that also Super Cup from Europe was being played in Qatar or something like that. So let us if you can't beat them, join them. Let's be together so that nobody can criticize us.
The Egyptian Football Federation, Mahmoud Al-Shami, has actually rejected claims that this move is due to the security reasons, claiming that it is, like you mentioned, more or less focused on marketing reasons.
We have to give them the
benefit of
the benefit and the excuse, because they don't play with crowds, and you see the situation in the country is still not encouraging enough for the security to be allowing a lot of spectators in the stadium and this thing. And I'm very worried. It might become a phenomenon, and then later on we ask that we have to play all our matches. Maybe our league will be played abroad, so it's going to be a difficult thing. Which I doubt, of course. I doubt that.
This could be proposed too, if we're speaking about marketing.
If you play it abroad and it gets more money, then many like Emirates, Qatar, or like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or Jordan, they can ask you to come and play there because you have many Egyptians there, many.
So here's the way they are selling this concept, that we have 400,000 Egyptians living in UAE, but we have 90 or more than 90 million living in Egypt. So
but you see, in Egypt, you allow only 400 spectators out of 90 million. There, you can allow maybe 50,000 out of this, and then you can have. But it's not. We're just talking and we're just thinking high. We're just saying things. Maybe this is not.
When you delve into the issues, you'll find obstacles. This is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. But it's important that the federation did that because they want good money from this match. This match is going to be one of the matches, Super Cup. It's one match with a trophy, and it can become something good for the benefit of the clubs, the two clubs, and for the benefit of the federation itself.
So this is, Zamalek's ending the drought and ending the monopoly of the 10-year dominance of Ahli for the Egyptian league this year. So Do you think heading to the Super Cup with this momentum, despite the fact that they lost also to Ahli, would this, put them in a better situation or a worse situation? This fear between Ahli and Zamalek, and you have been an Ahli player.
Ahli and Zamalek matches you cannot judge it with momentum or with winning at something. We always take the league during the 70s. We smash the teams by 7 and 8, and we have out 22 of 24 matches winning, and then we come and play against Sikka Hadid or Plastic and we lose. You see, this is the problem. Now, Ahli and Zamalek match is something all the players are keen to perform their best. And when you come to say that because they win the league or they won a match or this, even Al-Ahli, they beat the Zamalek on the league. And they expect the Zamalek to win, and then they on that match, if you remember. But Al-Ahli did not give them the chance to just take the league from their hands. They took it from another team, and this is what happened. Because matches between Al-Ahli and Zamalek have got its own competitive spirit, competitive motivations. I'm sure the match is going to be very difficult. You cannot just, because they are the Champions League champions, they cannot perform and win it. I'm sure it's going to have different measures. You have to think of a lot of things. Players are coming, new players are going to be joining. Al-Ahli have got 4 or 5 players coming, 2 foreigners, and Rami Rabia and Hijazi. They are now have 4. Zamalek have got another 4, and this is going to be very difficult for both teams to have a very regular or squad which is not big enough so that you can just concentrate on 11 or 12 than 20 or 25.
Yes.
This is the situation.
But do you think it's going to be an open match, exciting one? This is the the outer frame of this match, or it's a very conservative defensive match?
No, it's not going to be defensive. A team has to win. You have to attack. You have to attack. Don't wait for the penalties. So both teams will attack. It's going to be a very offensive match, I'm sure, because you see both coaches. Fathi Mabruk could be a little bit conservative, could be a little bit worried. But the other coach, I'm sure, is going to attack because, you see, foreigners, they don't like to defend. Only us, as coaches in Egypt or in Arab world, they like to defend. So I'm sure the match is going to be a very open match. It's going to be a match which is played outside the country. People, I mean the players themselves and the crowds are going to enjoy it. They will give a lot of pressure to the players because many crowd will be attending this match. I'm sure all the Egyptians there, they want to go there. It's going to be one of the matches which will never be forgotten, I'm sure. It's a good chance for the 2 teams to perform abroad for the crowds there and give a good impression of the Egyptian football to this area, Asian area.
Yes, and let's hope it is going to be a great marketing experience when we're saying the match is going to be played in the UAE, and how both teams are going to be having a great and long waited for match, definitely, and a great derby between 2 giant clubs like Ahli and Zamalek.
Yes.
Now let's move now to the upcoming story and France's Sébastien Ogier, who clinched his 3rd successive World Rally Championship for Volkswagen after winning the Rally of Australia. Let's move to the story.
France's Sébastien Ogier clinched the 3rd successive World Rally Championship for Volkswagen after winning the Rally of Australia. The 31-year-old became just the 3rd driver to win 3 titles in a row, joining his countryman Sébastien Loeb and Finland's Tommi Mäkinen. Ugie won the final 7 stages in Australia, including all 5 held on Sunday, to win the 3-day gravel road event near Coffs Harbour in northern New South Wales. Teaming up with his longtime co-driver Julian Ingrassia, Ugie completed the rally 12.3 seconds faster than his Finnish teammate Jari Latvala. Northern Ireland's Chris Meek finished third, a further 20.3 seconds behind. Ugie's victory was the 7th in 10 rounds this season, securing the championship with 3 rallies still to go, and the 31st of his career, moving him above Marcus Kronholm into outright second place overall for the most career wins. Loeb, who won 9 consecutive titles between 2004 and 2013, holds the record with 78 wins. Ugie became just the 3rd man to win at least 3 titles. Only Loeb, Juha Kankkunen and Maikkanen have won more. Kankkunen won twice in the 1980s and twice in the 1990s, while Maikkanen stitched together 4 on the trot between 1996 and 1999. Ugie currently has 235 points this season, 101 more than second-place Latvala, who has won twice this year. Together, they secured the manufacturer's title for Volkswagen for the 3rd year in a row. Denmark's Andreas Mikkelsen remained 3rd in the after finishing 4th in Australia, while New Zealand's Hayden Paddon finished 5th.
Into water for turn early at 3 minus carefully.
Once again, a very, very high one. It was for sure the most difficult rally to open the road, and still we managed to win it, so it's a perfect way to get the 3rd title again with a victory.
Welcome back, and this actually brings us to the end of this edition. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, Captain Shatta, and definitely with this rich insights and special occasion. I wish you all the best and happy feast.
Thank you very much. Same to you, to my audience.
Thank you very much, Captain Shatta. And this actually brings us to the end of this edition of Sprint. We hope you enjoyed this edition as much as we had. And definitely happy feast and enjoy the festivities, and we'll be seeing you next week with definitely more updates on sports, and looking forward definitely for the exciting parts, whether on the Super Cup or the qualifiers of the Egyptian national team and the Olympic team. Now we leave you, and until we meet again, it's goodbye.